A common mistake that I see people do when they're going through a divorce or planning to get a divorce is they immediately start hiding assets. That's not a good idea. People often start transferring money, hiding assets, selling assets, incurring debts because they're upset at the other spouse and they incur debts and they want to punish them. You have to remember that everything is traceable. When we go through a discovery process, we can trace everything and it doesn't make you look good in court. Another common mistake I see while people are going through a divorce is that all their decisions are emotionally driven. While divorce can be very emotional, you have to understand that the outcome and the results and the way things are handled in your divorce cannot be emotionally driven. You have to be calm, and you have to have strategic planning as you're going through your divorce. And if you feel like you're too emotional about it, then seek advice of your lawyer because they're not emotionally attached and they can help you and they can advocate for you outside of the emotions. Another mistake as people are going through a divorce is they get so involved in the divorce process, in the actual divorce as it's happening, and they lose sight of what life is going to look like post-divorce. This involves not only accepting the idea that you are divorced and you have to become self-sufficient and independent, but you have to have some financial planning. You have to strategically plan what you're going to do and what things you're going to do to become sufficient and independent. To become independent after divorce, there are a few things you have to consider. You have to remember if you have children, you will now be a single parent. So how are you going to manage children and also to be able to get out and be able to work? If you don't have children, but you've never worked throughout your marriage, then you have to figure out what you're going to do after divorce. How are you going to get back on the work field to become self-sufficient? If you have had a long gap during your marriage of not working, then it might be a good idea to start going through pulling out and refreshing your resume, kind of refreshing up, whatever your profession is. So when that time comes, you're ready to go and it doesn't take you a really long time to become self-sufficient. Another mistake people do while they're going through a divorce is not get professional help. This professional help can range anywhere from dealing with the accountant, getting counseling, going through a therapist, seeking, going through and working with your lawyer. Even after divorce, post-divorce, things can come up that you need to discuss with your lawyer. You may have had an agreement as part of your marriage to be the spouse that stays home and the other spouse has control of all the finances and things that you deal with. You may have had an agreement with your spouse where one spouse is raising the family and the other spouse is being the breadwinner. So you're not used to or privy to all the information that you're going to need. But post-divorce, you need to know all that information. You need to be able to work with accountants, know your finances, and become independent to be able to handle those affairs yourself because you will no longer have the assistance of your other spouse. If you're going through a divorce, give Kamal Law Firm a call. We will evaluate your case and guide you through this process.